We learn to communicate from day one, crying as infants to having phone calls as adults. It's something we all do, but did you know there are certain things you can do to improve your skills as a communicator? With this, I'm going to share a few things I've learned as an SCC Human Service student to help you improve your communication skills. You'll never know when you might struggle to communicate something. Hopefully, the things that I've learned as a Human Service student will help you. Like I said, these are skills that I've learned here at SCC in our communication skills class, which I passed with flying colors. 3 big things that were spoken about and taught in the class that were skills that we were told that we needed to know was listening, body language, and questioning. Being a good listener is number 1. It was the first skill that we were taught when we started the class, and it was the first thing we saw when we opened our textbooks. In the beginning of our textbooks, we discussed listening skills and how to properly listen. Sometimes the best thing to do is to just sit there quietly and listen to the other person. It's hard to communicate if there's no listening. As a human service student in communication skills, it was key to get listening down. Proper listening skills were taught, and they were followed with being attentive. Being attentive goes over a few of our body language, which is the second thing that we were taught and the second skill that we needed to learn to be a good communicator. Body language can say a lot. People can read your mood and if you're listening or if you're not listening based on very simple things that you might not even be paying attention to when you're having a conversation with someone. For starters, eye contact. If someone isn't looking at you while you're talking, you're going to assume that they're not listening to you. So the best thing to do is to have eye contact while you're having a conversation with someone. The second thing that is sometimes hard for people like me, I have ADHD, and so fidgeting is something that was really hard for me to focus on stopping while having a conversation. If you're sitting across from someone that's fidgeting while you're having a conversation, it can be seen as distracting or rude. So it's a skill to work on is to not fidget. But trust me, you'll get it. I did. Your posture and how you're sitting can also affect your conversation. During our counseling portion of our communication skills class, we were taught to sit with an open body and not a closed off body. For example, a closed off posture would mean crossing your arms while having a conversation, which can once again come off as rude or disrespectful, just like the fidgeting. We are taught to have a conversation with an open body. Having an open body can also open up room to have a conversation and make the other person feel heard or more comfortable when communicating with you. Those are all examples of good attentive behavior and good attentive listening. Now, what shows that you're listening better than asking questions? When you ask someone a question while you're having a conversation, it shows them that you are listening and that you have interest. Open questions and closed questions are 2 different types of questions that we were taught about in the human service class. An open question can lead to a very broad answer, such as, what are your plans this weekend? Or, what are you going to do next week? Those can open the conversations and let the other person talk for a pretty long time if you don't feel like talking. It's a good question to use, and I used open-ended questions quite a lot during our counseling sessions. A closed-ended question is a question that you can ask for just a simple yes or no answer. These are questions that you might want to ask when you need to know yes or no if you were talking to someone. Let's say you were having a conversation with someone about their trip, and you ask, did you have fun on your trip? It's a simple yes or no, and the other person can see that you have interest in their conversation and that you learned something from the conversation as well. Asking questions shows interest and makes you learn, which is a great skill to have when communicating. Using proper skills such as listening, body language, and using open-ended and closed-ended questions can help a lot when communicating.